Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, my pretties, to this live recorded review of John Wick Hex. Just after I did the live stream of it, you can find a link to it down below. And, well, actually, I think I'll link to the playlist just because I think I'm going to do another stream of this, which is tipping my hand a little bit for this review, but hey, let's get into it. Well, after I just tipped my hand in a positive way, let's just shoot straight to the point, much like John Wick himself. The most noticeable flaw I find within this game is just it's kind of sloppy. Sometimes animations go a little jank during the replay of a level, which a lot of fun. BT dubs, it's a grid-based game where you move John Wick about, and conduct various actions that have various percentage chances of completing, but yeah, for the most part, you're pretty good. As long as you're not too far away or you have certain upgrades, you're going to hit your shots pretty well. Get into that in a bit. And takedowns always pretty much happen. In terms of core combat, the most useless thing is the parry, because just it takes too long to activate. You'd want it in a situation where, like, you're shooting somebody, you're finishing it off, and a brawler or martial artist comes up to you and is so close to hitting you that you want to parry it. But based on how long it takes to shoot somebody, because you normally do multiple shots to ensure they're down, unless, like, you only need to one-tap them, typically there just isn't enough time to get the parry in, other than very rare circumstances, which just makes it worthless, you know? If there's barely ever a circumstance in which you're going to use it, why is it even there? Furthermore, je ne sais quoi, there's also a push, which there's very little chances to get an environmental kill with it, and again, because it is based on the name, a hexagon grid system, it's just very unlikely you ever get the chance to push into somebody, because John Wick will normally be one spot, up to his right will be an enemy, and up to that enemy's left, straight above John, will be another person to push into, and it never really works out that you can push into somebody very conveniently. It would be nice if you could push that throw to the side. If that could be done, that would be great, but oh well. Now, back to the whole sloppy thing, je ne sais quoi. It comes back down to, like, not only the animations, but, like, takedowns, the main way you hand-to-hand combat somebody. It costs a focus point, which is used as balanced out. You can refocus at any time, but that takes up time, and if there's enemies about, well, it could be quite dangerous to attempt it. Problem is, it's like every time the enemy slightly moves from one grid to another, it interrupts your takedown, you've wasted the focus, and you can literally just re-engage it again with them in the exact same spot, and it works. And this interruption happens multiple times, and it just becomes increasingly frustrating every time you do it. But yeah, it really starts to grind your gears time after time after time, especially when it means something goes wrong and it costs you a run, all just because, like, an enemy attempts to move and interrupts your takedown. It really gets to you. Another thing that could help with the takedown, it only works when it's, like, adjacent to each other. And it really would be good if you share, like, 2 tiles with an enemy that you can still then engage with a takedown, because it still places you somewhere back on the hex grid system. The hex grid somewhere next to the enemy as you take them down. So that would just be a real quality life improvement, as well as stopping the slight movement of an enemy from interrupting it. Parry, having a shorter cooldown, that would also be a lot better. After the tutorial level, you can plan out your assaults on various locations, and you have a certain amount of money to set stuff up in each area. And there are 2 ways to do this, via smuggling and tailoring. I'm just going to say it straight away. Tailoring should have been, like, permanent upgrades as you progress throughout the game. It would have been so much more satisfying, you know? Like, in the first round, I selected a movement penalty thing, which meant as I move, enemy shots are less likely to hit me, which was very nice, but it reset after that level. And it's just having some amount of progression from area to area would be nice. The other way, smuggling, is basically you can take bandages, which you use to heal up, and smuggle them later throughout the level, which is nice, but I wish there was just a few sprinkled out throughout the level naturally. There are a few in the tutorial, but after that, not so much, and it's kind of a bummer. I mean, these are crime areas where like assaulting. You think they would have a few on hand to patch up their own guys from time to time, but nope. It would be nice, just like one or two throughout the mission, and then you throw a few more yourself in as you can afford. The other things you can smuggle in are weapons and je ne sais quoi. John Wick comes with a default weapon, which is really cool, looks very nice, good stats and everything. You have one reload for that, and I wish you could smuggle in additional magazine clips for that, but you can't. So you end up having to switch between a bunch of different weapons, which just isn't terrible, but again, the gun he has is very cool. So I wish I could just stick with that for as long as I could. Again, those are all my nitpicks, but again, if you hadn't noticed from the very beginning, I did have, outside of that, a very good time. It's just these nitpicks are something you run into time and time and time and again, unless it becomes more aggravating. But on the whole, I did have a very good time with this game. Now, where was I? It does a very good job, faithfully adhering to the world the films set up. It has a very nice style. It could be a little bit more polished, but, you know, I do appreciate it nonetheless. It seems to have a decent storyline going on. Haven't finished it yet. Again, I want to play this game for another stream, so take that for what it's worth. And yeah, I believe for Winston and the other one, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, the clerk at the hotel, they, I think, either got really good impersonators or the actual actors themselves. The only ones they didn't seem to get were je ne sais quoi, Keanu Reeves as John Wick throughout the majority of the game. It could be he gets a line in at the very end, but so far I have yet to notice that. We'll have to see about that in time. Now, what else? What else? Is there anything else? If you have played any other kind of like indie games before, you know, AA or smaller indie games, I would wholeheartedly recommend this game. There are a few things, like I said, that do get frustrating. I do have my nitpicks with it, but I still, at the end of the stream, had a fantastic time with this game. As for those who maybe don't play video games that often, or only like tap into your Call of Duties or your Fortnites, I'm a bit more iffy about recommending it. But again, it does do a good job with the John Wick franchise, so it might be worth a gamble if you don't normally like things outside of that window of big AAA games. It is, like I said, different grid-based system, turn-based, time management. All of these things flowed fairly well together for me. And again, sorry to stumble over my words here a little bit. It's a bit more of a risk if you haven't played a lot of these type of games, but it does do a good job with the world of John Wick, that it's a worthwhile risk, at the very least, to encourage more of these high-quality, like, video games about film franchises again. They kind of died off as like the time to actually put a video game together just became too long to slap one together, like 9 months before a film comes out. 9 months to a year, maybe 3 months after the film comes out, the video game comes out. That is like no longer viable in this world. But there are lots of films that could do with fantastic video game adaptations, you know, and like the more action or je ne sais quoi, horror or superhero genres that don't, unfortunately. But yes, this is a fantastic example of a video game adaptation, and at the end of the day, I still do highly recommend it despite the nitpicks I have with it. And I believe that will be everything for this review of John Wick Hex. So again, I really gotta get into the habit of saying this at the start of it. I'm good at the streams. Like the video, subscribe, hit the bell. Huge helps, not only for this channel, but my other channel, Sod Passion Gaming, where I did play through this game on stream. Again, you can find a link to the playlist down below. Who knows, by the time you watch this, there could be another stream out. So, ta-ta, Wiedersehen, until we meet again. Bye-bye.